Hello guys, and welcome to a new Stow Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you Game 4 of a best of 5 between Gonzo and Karma in the grand final in Season 3 of the Steel Division 2 League. Today they are playing on Orsha North, and surprise surprise, both players have decided to play on the Allied side. So today on the left side, on the red team, we have Gonzo using Morskaya Gruppa Bakhtina and the Vanguard deployment type. And on our right, we have Karma in the blue team playing with the 44th Guards Rifles and the Vanguard deployment type. So currently, Karma is 2 games up, 2 games to 1 against Gonzo. He's in a very, very good position right now. If he wins this game, he takes the final and the prize that comes with it. Gonzo, however, is going to be doing his best to stop that from happening, so we have another close game, I expect, ahead of us. Both players are going to be using the Vanguard deployment type, so once again, it's going to come down to who can get the most value out of their units, and yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see where the players this time. Previous game, it all came down to the AA of Gonzo. The game before that, it came down to the air engagements, and yeah, this time around, I'm not entirely sure what we're going to see. Morskaya Gruppa Bakhtina is a very interesting choice. I'm not too familiar with how it plays in the competitive scene, so we'll have to wait and see about that. But on the side of Karma, he's using the 44th again. And the 44th is actually the division he used in the second game where he lost to Gonzo using the 7th Mechanized. So Karma must like the division quite a bit. I mean, Gonzo did the same thing in the last game where he lost. He used the 26th, and it seems to be a curse for Gonzo, so maybe it'll be a curse for Karma as well, using the same division that he'd already lost on. But we'll have to wait and see. I think he's using a different deployment type than he was before, so maybe focusing more on early game aggression for Karma might pay off. Regardless, let's have a look at what's going down on either side. So for Gonzo here, he does have Morskaya Gruppa at the start with the Osnaz, going to be 3 Chenye Bushlati and the Morskaya Pehota following those up. Further down, 2 PTRS, 2 infantry guns, going to be 2 Morskaya Pehota, 1 Morskaya Sturm. These are flamer squads. I think they're quite big flamer squads. And then you've got the Osnaz VMF, which are recon squads with both machine guns and snipers, I believe, and then you've got the ZIS 2 there as well. Further down, we see 2 infantry guns, Osnaz VMF, ZIS 2 there, and then PTRS, Morskaya Gruppa, some Chenye Bushlati, they're very similar to Stroki DP, and then Morskaya Pehota here. These are, I think, 15-man squads. Very, very strong infantry start here from Gonzo. On the side of Karma, he's got the 45mm AT gun, going to be following that up on the top side with 4 units of Gvardia DP, 1 unit of standard Gvardia. Towards the center, it's going to be 3 flamers, 3 snipers, 2 more flamers and a sniper further down, another one there, another flamer that is, and an SG-43 to cover the open. Snipers and flamers into the bottom side town here, and then on the bottom, it's going to be Gvardia DP and Gvardia to spread out. The infantry engagement's going to be the thing to watch out for, and I think in general when we look at the map, Gonzo is going to have an advantage in that regard, especially since controlling the top and bottom side of the map on Orsha North is very, very important indeed, since it allows you to get a crossfire to the center of the map. And these Chenye Bushlati and the Morskaya Pehota can really do a lot of damage due to their superior numbers. So the Chenye Bushlati here, they have 9 SVTs and the machine gun. The Morskaya Pehota, they have the 9 Mozins. So great at the sort of medium range engagement. But Karma's already invested in Yak 1Bs. He's going to be coming in, dropping bombs onto the Osnaz VMF, blinding these infantry guns, and taking out another infantry gun there with those aircraft. So nice job by those early on, getting some early infantry value. But the Chenye Bushlati doing so much damage to the Gvardia in that engagement. These are 2-star veterancy thanks to the Morskaya. No commander here, so that's just Gonzo bringing in the units at the extra veterancy. But MiG-3s on the board. The MiG-3s are interesting. They are recon aircraft, but they have two 20 mils in the nose, which actually makes them pretty good fighters, especially against lighter fighter bombers like Yak-1Bs. They're also pretty nifty, 580 km/h speed, so if microed well, can do some serious damage. But getting double teamed there by the Yak-3 and the Yak-1B is not going to be too helpful for Gonzo. That MiG is in trouble. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Gonzo is continuing his pushes forwards into the Gavardi, and the Gavardi just aren't really trading very well at the moment. Well, that MiG is going to have to try and get out of there if it can. It's in a tough position. This Yak, can it be microed onto target? No, it can't. It looks like both players are kind of trying to micro their front line whilst also microing this air engagement. IL-2 gets the better of one of the Yaks. That's going to make a big difference, but the Yak replies with a MiG-3. IL-2 almost shoots down the Yak in a head-on. MiG-3 against Yak-3 in head-on. Neither really comes out on top. However, Karma has killed both of the infantry guns on the high ground here. Taken an offensive flag early on. MiG-3 for Yak-3. Yak-1 still in the sky. Can the IL-2s get the job done? One of them is weapon jammed, and second Yak-3 in the air. This could be a big loss here, actually, for Gonzo. Especially if he gets onto the back of both of these IL-2s. That could be really, really bad news. And now that IL-2's engine damaged, that one's weapon jammed. See if that makes too much of a difference here. This air engagement is so extended, it's actually ridiculous. Gonzo continuing to go around in circles there. Both of his MiGs are dead, so he doesn't really have decent fighter support, and he's going to have to focus on continuously microing these and trying to keep his aircraft alive. The IL-2 bomber's nearly going down. It hasn't even been used yet to bomb anything. However, meanwhile, again, the infantry of Gonzo is still trading well on the bottom side. In the center, Gonzo's finally reinforcing that to probably take back that flag. On the top side, Gavardia are getting chewed up as well. They did bring 4 units of Gavardia DP in here. There's only 2 left on the top side. Another IL-2M3 was brought in. Did that shoot down the Yak? Maybe. By the way, IL-2M3 quite happily going to come to the bottom side. No AA cover. IL-2 on the top side manages to kill the AT gun and chip off the Gavardia DP. This IL-2 could do a lot of work here, actually, because the cluster bomb will spread out and most likely pin down the Gavardia as well. If it's close enough, not quite. The way that the IL-2 pulled away meant it didn't land on the Gavardia in the end. But the IL-2's gone down, and that's a good kill. Or sorry, the T-34's gone down, so that's a good kill for the IL-2. Double infantry gun engaging the T-34 here. The T-34's already taking care of one of the infantry guns. It's probably come under a lot of HE fire. The double HE from these infantry guns might eventually get the better of that tank. But that is another infantry gun down. Can the last one do the job? It is getting lots of hits on target. Slowly chipping away at the health of that tank. Tank's just currently sitting there and taking it though. Gavardia, I think they've managed to eventually break down these infantry squads. I think the tank that did come up and help on the hill made a big difference here. It kind of took down the health of these squads enough that the Gavardia got the advantage. Also, Gonzo's kind of not committed all of his Chunya Bashlati down here, so that's also been an issue with that engagement. Tango Thessaloniki are managing to get into close cover here, which is going to be a hard time for the Morskaya. Morskaya do have 4 submachine guns, so they're not absolutely useless at close range. But the Tango Thessaloniki, if they do stop and actually use an attack move order, should be able to get some serious damage done here with the Molotovs. Instead, they're just running them down. Double Molotov is thrown. Oh, but the Osnaz, beautiful stuff, takes out 2 of the T-34s there. Yeah, Gavardia and 2 Tango Thessaloniki versus those Morskaya and the Chenye. Looks like Karma's found a way to push out the infantry from that top side. On the bottom, more reinforcements are arriving. If the Morskaya can maintain these with 2-star veterancy when they go to engage the Gavardia, should be in an okay position. Got to be a bit careful there not to get too close to the AT rifle. The PTRD certainly can take out his infantry very easily. Yak-1 coming in for the bombing strike again. Oh, lovely off map here from Karma. Gonzo's trying to avoid the Yak 3 there as well, the 152mm. Managing to smash the remainder of Gonzo's infantry. Yak 1 now coming in for the shots. And that's the IL-2 down. Damn, looks like both players in this match are really looking for control of the skies, big time. It's been very important in a lot of the previous games, and it's continuing to be the case this time around. Chenye are going to take out some tankos on the bottom side. That is a good kill for these infantry. It's going to mean that they're going to survive these engagements a lot better, because without the tankos throwing molotovs at them, Chenyes have a really good advantage against these Cavalia. The main reason that they are so much better is because the Mozins, well, in this case have run out of ammunition, but no, the Mozins have less DPS than the SVTs that the Chenya Bushlati do, so that's really making the difference in those engagements. Yak 1B coming in with a bombing strike though, definitely going to help out, but with the Usnaz and the Chenya Bushlati getting close to these Gavadia, I think this flag's still going to go in the favour of Gonzo, bringing it back to 12 to 12. Bombing strike kind of misses the mark. The Yak 3s did take out Azis 2 in the centre there, with the help of the SG. Let's see if this off map is used again. The Tanko Desaniki still pushing through. There is the Morskaya Sturm there. Small squads with flamers. They don't have any Molotovs on the Tankos, so the Morskaya Sturm might win that engagement. Especially with the Morskaya Pehota helping them out. Or just about. Did trade though. Morskaya Sturm here, Tanko Desaniki not in a very good position. Taken out. Chenya Bushlati forced back. Tanko Desaniki trying to get into position, but taking a lot of damage. This guy is there, actually killed off on the bottom side by the two snipers. It's a very interesting game so far. There's no real big difference happening so far. Like, no big advantage. I would say that Karma's certainly found an advantage in the air against Gonzo's IL-2s. Just taking down both those MiGs was pretty important at the start of the game, but it didn't really cost Gonzo that much. I think those MiGs are actually pretty cheap. So he still has a decent advantage on the ground. His infantry is still very strong, and that's how he's able to hold his line. And the Osnas here, you can see they have the SVT-40 and the MG-42. They can engage very well at like 750 meter range where they can use both of them, but in this case just being overwhelmed by the double sniper and the Gavadia IL-2 coming in to take that out. I think this is a little bit overzealous of Gonzo, bringing in the IL-2 when he knows that his opponent has the sky under his control. This IL-2 is now flying over a 37 as well, which will most likely shoot that down, and it does indeed. Now we've got a double Yak 1 chasing the IL-2, and that IL-2 is in big trouble. This is starting to mount up quite significantly. Oh, the double 37 brought in, actually triple 37 brought in from Gonzo. Damn, look at this play. Okay, will these 37s shoot any of these down? That's one thing we're going to have to keep an eye on. Because, honestly, that could have been some very dead IL-2s, but yeah, Gonzo bringing in the triple 37. These are going to be quite far back for a long time. They're going to want at least one kill, because otherwise it's going to be very questionable as to whether or not that was worth it. It has saved the IL-2s, but in the long run, that's quite a large investment that he hasn't otherwise put towards his front line. Now, the Osnas VMF have come in up here, like quite significantly actually. And they are getting better of the sniper squads, mainly due to their numbers. So the Osnas VMF, one big advantage they have over a standard sniper squad is, of course, they have 6 men. And therefore, in an engagement with enemy snipers, they almost always come out on top one-on-one. In this case, I think the engagement was sort of swayed by the T-34 and the Gavadia getting involved. One of the 37s did move all the way up. These ones are now moving into position. Surprised they moved orders instead of attack move orders. I think attack move orders would be better, so they stop if an aircraft does get close enough, but I guess he's just rushing them into position, the best position they can be in as soon as possible. Either on the bottom side, big push from the Gavadia. Johnny Bishlati. There is some extra squads here that aren't engaged, which is a little unfortunate. Gonzo just realizing now we'll be able to chip this Gavardia DP quite a bit because they don't have any cover. The one thing that Gonzo does have going for him here is that all of his units are in heavy cover, whilst none of the Gavardia are. So the Gavardia are actually taking a lot more damage than they probably should do. The best thing to do in this engagement is to make sure that you're moving up units that aren't specifically being targeted into cover, whilst the others kind of take the fire for you. But Karma's here just quite happy to engage from the open and has lost a lot of men because of that. These Gavardia could have easily jumped into this building, for example. These ones could have maybe moved just back a little bit into the trees. You do lose quite a lot of men if they're on the move due to the lack of entrenchment sometimes, but in the long run it's definitely worth it to have that heavy cover bonus, especially when your opponent does, because otherwise you're just fighting a losing battle. Either way, off-map has come in now onto this town. It's looking to break down the infantry left in here, but I'm not sure if those Avtos will deal too well with the Morskaya Sturm. The Morskaya Sturm do have the double flamer. They're really effective at taking out Avto squads, because the Avtos rely on the 100-meter range. So we'll see here in the open, Avtos won't really be able to do much damage. Avtos are forced to move. They are actually getting quite a lot of DPS there because the second Avto squad got into position, but one-on-one that Avto would have gone down. One of the Avtos also got killed before it even unloaded, which was a bit of a mistake from Karma. But the IL-2 certainly saving the day a little bit, taking out another Avto squad. The last one now pinned, might be able to be surrendered by the T-34. IL-2 is coming in to help out with these Yaks. One of the Yaks does go down. There's a lot of AA on the field now on the side of Gonzo. But look on this bottom side, the T-34 is really just rushing down Gonzo's units right now. The Morskaya Konroti trying to stay alive. Morskaya Sturm going to be eaten alive by the T-34-76. These Morskaya Sturm managed to hold their ground, but yeah, the T-34 is certainly helping a breakthrough on that bottom side. IL-2 on its way to go help that out. Double Yak 1B on the top side, going to be whittling down some of the infantry of Gonzo here. At least all of the squads that the off-map isn't. The off-map's actually hitting quite well at the moment, chipping a lot of these squads to very, very low health. The T-34-76 has been forced back. It looks like both players have like similar strategy, but on either side of the map. So Karma's pushing forwards with T-34-76 to support the infantry on the bottom side, and Gonzo's doing the same on the top side. Although I believe that Gonzo has significantly less tanks available throughout the game than Karma does. So if Gonzo starts to lose some of these T-34s over time, that will definitely add up. Nice little bombing strike there from the Yak 1, pins down the Morskaya. Doesn't do too much damage though. It might allow the Gavardia, however, to finish things off. A lot of flags captured for Karma though on the bottom. And these Morskaya Avtos, they are very important units, and that's going to be one killed off before it even gets into position. Those Morskaya Avtos are super scary. They are 12-man squads with only submachine guns, which makes them super, super strong. It's like an Avto squad on steroids. It really, really is. Oh no, big mistake. Big mistake from Karma here. Loses his M17 on the top side for free to the T-34-76. No reply in sight. The T-34-85-1943 doesn't have line of sight because of the building there. You see the T-34 is now being rushed into play for that top side. But that is tough for Karma to deal with. He's going to not have the M17 air cover. Also, the Studbecker going down there as well. Not good news at all. Morskaya Sturm trying to move over light cover against two Gavardia squads. Well, that didn't end well. 45mm almost gets a good clean shot there into the T-34, but I think it just about missed. Gavardia's moving into position on the bottom side is giving Karma a nice lead. Karma currently sitting with Gonzo on half tickets, which is a nice place to be. Yak 1B coming in with another bombing strike to slow down some of the infantry reinforcement from Gonzo into this infantry engagement, but Morskaya Porter coming in from the rear. Look at this. These, do they have the Raider trait? No, they do not. That would have been good if they did. But either way, are in a very good position. to help clean up the Gavardia at close range because they have those 4 submachine guns. On the bottom, I'm a little concerned as to how Gonzo is going to deal with this. He's going to have to use maybe some sort of off-map, or I guess potentially air support, but Zhuchok's not really it. There's the 2 Yak 1s and the Yak 3 coming in. They're all going for Zhuchok. They did plenty of damage, but Zhuchok still managed to kill one of the OBs. The Zhuchok has the 4 ground attack cannons underneath it, plus the cannons in the nose, and can do some serious damage. The 2 Yak 1Bs, they're forced back by the AA. I doubt this Yak 3 will get the kill. Although saying that, with Gonzo turning this in, maybe that's low enough health that it will go down. Yeah. The Yak 9 gonna get that kill. I'm not sure if it would have got away if it were to continue flying, but the kill onto the Yak 3 will be compensation enough for Gonzo, I reckon. Well, there's this 2 getting into position here. That's nice. That's going to be engaging the T-34. Definitely has plenty of penetration. Turned off the APCR to get the extra damage. T-34 pulled back, though, by Karma. Notices that happening. This T-34 trying to get the better of the 152 here off map, but ends up getting picked off by the T-34 85 of Karma. And looks like these T-34 85s are finally getting into position and stopping the advance of Gonzo's T-34 76s. So Karma's, I feel like, in a very strong position right now. Gonzo does have a lot of infantry on the map, but it's not really in positions that can really affect the outcome of the game very well. So Karma's definitely looking like he's on track to winning this final. Gavardia taking care of the Morskaya. Morskaya Rozvitka also going down. T-34 85 is rushing up here to take care of the T-34 76 1942. Gonzo's going to be reversing that. It doesn't want to take that engagement. Sniper's continuing to move up. Oh, will I need to be careful? Oh, this is sneaky from Gonzo. The sniper doesn't have line of sight. It's a side shot onto the T-34 85. Oh, does take a reply though. IL-2 looking for the bombing strike. Is that going for the infantry? Doesn't need to. That was a beautiful shot. Was that from the T-34 back here in the town? Something shot that in the side. It might have been just the T-34 in the trees there, but T-34 goes down regardless. Morskaya Gruppa waiting in position. Here comes the off-map I was talking about. This is what he needs to really break down this defense. It's very difficult otherwise for him to push up here, especially into the tank support and potentially AT support, which is now on the way. So yeah, bringing in the off-map to help pin down these units whilst he advances is definitely a good shout. So that's what he's going to be doing there. Meanwhile, this T-34 looks like Karma's going to try and deal with it. He's just running towards it, going to try and cut it off with the Gavardia as it reverses. Eventually this T-34 is going to be forced to engage, but one problem this T-34 is having at the moment is it's not turning its turret in the right direction. Okay, it is now. Actually had its turret facing better than the T-34 in the forest, so nicely done. Here comes the rocket off map. Let's not miss this. This is the beauty of Morskaya Gruppa Bakhtina. Does have riverboats with rockets, rocket support, and that absolutely decimated that area. Killed off the T-34. Is Gavardia very much on the edge of that rocket strike. But all it really needs to do, that rocket strike, is pin them down long enough for these Morskaya Gruppa to get in position. And I mentioned how deadly those can be in close range. Gavardia won't stand a chance. Yak 1B is coming in for the bombing strikes onto the Morskaya in the open. Nicely done. The bombing strike onto the 132 is kind of unnecessary. I think you only get one strike with these. So that probably would have been better off going for one of the Morskaya Pohodza. Lucky they both get away from these AA. Especially since they actually went so close to them. But here we go, the 12 Thompson machine guns. Let's watch how quickly this Gavardia melts. They're just gone. They are just gone. These Morskaya, I'm probably not going to do as well. They're going to take quite a bit of damage charging across the open. They will definitely be able to finish off that Gavardia squad. But I thought they would take more damage. Nope, they get in range, Gavardi are dead. As simple as that. That's pretty much the story of Morskaya Raptors. You get them in range, the enemy is dead. But, Yak 1B. Oh, nice fallback there actually. Did allow that to take less damage than it otherwise would have. This Yak 1B is actually being targeted onto the IL-2 on the top side. IL-2 takes out the T-34 1943, T-34-85 that is, but he does lose the T-34-76 to that engagement. Yak 1B, how did that not go down? Okay, never mind. There we go. That was flying around the AA for so long. I think Gonzo would have been very unlucky if that hadn't died. But this Morskaya is moving... Where is it moving? Does he know this AT is here, I wonder? This AT is in a very sneaky position. That can snipe transports for days. Might also be able to find the shot onto the 132, but that would probably be a waste of positioning there for that AT gun. Avtos moving in. Morskaya and Avtos move back. The normal Avtos, they have the PPSH. Pretty sure the Thompson has like better DPS, so if these Morskayas group up against the Avto squads, the Avtos will probably lose out to the Morskaya Avtos. 45 does kill off the 132. Boston come in with that bombing strike. That's to the center of the map. Does end up pinning down quite a lot of this infantry. Also, looks like the Morskaya Pehota there getting involved. This unit of 12 Gavardia would probably just kill that very quickly, so I think Gonzo might still lose out there regardless of that bombing strike. The bombing strike was really well placed. It managed to pin down almost all of those units. Right, here we go. Morskaya Avtos versus Avtos. 2v1 on the first one. Absolutely demolished them. Here we go with the second engagement. This is 5 men versus 9 men here. I think the veterancy is actually really helping out this Avto squad quite a bit. Yeah. So I think the veterancy there making a big difference. This Avto now just has to clean up the Morskaya Avtos, if it can. Bombing strike comes in. Boston takes out the leader that was in his way. Morskaya, with those Mozins and the submachine guns, actually trading pretty well into Avtos. IL-2 coming in for the bombing strike just to clean things up. Yeah, you can see how effective those Morskaya Avtos can be, at least. But Karma's still in the lead, 13 to 11. Back to 12 to 12 for a brief moment as the Gavardi DP lose that flag in the center. Chunya Bashlati up against the Flamers. The Flamers are too close to that unit, so they are losing control there. I'm surprised that Gonzo is managing to gain ground in the open. This is a place where I kind of thought that Gonzo would lose out because he is very much infantry focused, and having an abundance of tanks on the side of Karma would allow him to just sit T-34s out in the open and prevent infantry from pushing forwards like this, just like he's doing now with the Su-76 PTs. These are really, really good for taking down infantry because they basically have the equivalent of Resist-3. So over time they can do quite a lot of damage. They will need to be reloaded with HE ammunition eventually, but you can see they will chip just like a normal infantry gun. Or one of the Studebaker is going down there before it unloads. That's not good news. Gavardia unloading now. Morskaya Gruppa coming under a lot of fire. They're going to be forced to fall back. Su-76 looking for the snipe onto the Morskaya. Very nice. Infantry squad down. These infantry snipes are so important. I'm surprised there isn't more burning trucks on this road, actually. Maybe the 45 is just not in the right position, but maybe we can get a shot onto the Starkey SVT here. Bombing strike comes again on the bottom side. Manages to do quite a lot of damage to the Gavardi here. Avtos in a bit of a tough position, completely outnumbered. Su-76. Looks like the two further up were directly engaging the T-34-76, but that's not really a good engagement for the Su-76s because the Su-76s have very low armor and very low health. So like one shot from the T-34-76 can kill a Su-76M, whilst the next Su-76M requires 2 shots to kill a T-34-76, and that's due to the hidden health system. But in this case, Su-76 makes the job, or does the job. Gavardia going to be moved up on the top side, unloaded. Nice position for Karma to be in, going to capture him another flag, keep him in the lead with the 13-11. Bombing strikes continue on this bottom side as Karma tries to push through, but both players just hurling infantry at each other on this tree line here. 45mm is eventually taken out as transports have started to be sniped. One of them on the road there. I think the Strauki SVT also got taken out here. So yeah, Gonzo deciding eventually to get rid of that AT gun since he found it. So Gavardia pushing through, trying to get to the flag, will eventually be collapsed on. But 13-11 is still the case, and off-map coming down now from Karma just to clean up the top side. I think he's looking to pin down this Morskaya Avto and these Morskaya Polta so he can get a better position for his infantry on the top side. But Boston coming in with those bombing strikes, IL-2 M3 with the cluster bombs, and I feel like Gonzo, even though he lost out in the air early on, has managed to get his base of AA strong enough that his support aircraft can continue to work. So basically, Karma was countering Gonzo's airplay with his fighters. But since the fighters can no longer attack the aircraft due to the AA, Karma now needs to rely on his own AA to stop the airstrikes. So, but we're not seeing any investment from AA on the side of Karma, and that's allowing Gonzo to get these strikes in, which is starting to make a bit of a difference, especially as far as those Bostons are concerned, because they are focusing on the infantry, and the infantry engagement is somewhere where Gonzo already succeeds, so it's only sort of inflating that advantage and causing Gonzo to get more ahead. However, he's not ahead. Obviously, Karma's well ahead in tickets, but the situation of the game right now kind of, to me, says that eventually Gonzo will be able to take back the game. It's just whether or not he can do it quick enough. And Karma losing 2 infantry squads there on the push up the hill is a big mistake. He can't afford to be doing that. Gavardia on the bottom side, though, making plenty of ground. Yak 9 coming in for a bombing strike onto the Strauki SVT. Looks like the Strauki might get out of the way quick enough. They do indeed. No severe damage there. Karma's starting to take back the center, though. With the introduction of the Su-76 MPTs, he's managed to break down the infantry push that Gonzo made here, and that's going to eventually make quite a big difference to the center of the map and give a lot more flags back to Karma. So that is certainly one place where he can continue to have an advantage throughout the game, especially due to his T-34-85s. Yak 1B trying to get better of an IL-2 while it's not over AA cover. Might be able to get the job done there if that engagement continues off map. The Boston managed to get off 3 of its 4 bombs. M17 forcing it back, but those bombs did do a reasonable amount of damage. On the top, things are not looking too good for Karma. Seems as though his push that he made here has slowly been broken down. A lot of those Gavardia picked off over time. That Yak 1B stuck around for way too long. Over the AA, goes down. I think maybe Karma lost track of it because it flew off the map. But yeah, that's unfortunate. The T-34s on the top side, I think one of them just died. Yeah, one of them just got popped. The T-34-85 1943 has arrived to blunt that T-34-76 push. And this is the advantage that Karma has throughout the game, is the T-34-85. It does make a big difference in these matchups. He struggled to make it work in the matchup against the 7th Mechanized Corps because of the ISU 122s. But the Morskaya Gruppa Bakhtina really doesn't have those kind of things to play with. That's why Gonzo's so reliant on these IL-2 cluster bombers. But there's just no AA coming in to cover these T-34s. And I think that's really where Karma's lacking right now. He brought in the original M17 on the top side, and that got popped, obviously. The one on the bottom side is kind of in position now and maybe can prevent IL-2 strikes. But the lack of extra AA to cover his medium tanks is going to continue to cost him throughout this game as long as he doesn't bring it in. It's as simple as that. Karma, again, still holding the ground for now, though. Zis 3 is being used as infantry guns to help take out an enemy Zis 3 there. Yak 1B completely whiffs on that bombing strike, targeted a unit that already died. Flamers actually getting taken out by the Morskaya Gruppa there. The Morskaya Gruppa actually have 3 submachine guns, so they can put out some decent DPS pretty quickly, and it looks like it got the better of the Flamer squad. Gonzo needs to be careful on the bottom side, though. These infantry squads are getting pretty low, and the abundance of Gavardia will be able to spread out eventually and take quite a lot of ground. So this is a weak area for Gonzo right now, and he can, I guess, probably bomb this in order to gain back the advantage. But that's something he's going to have to do sooner than later, again, before they spread out. Oh no, that's a huge loss. The M17 going down on the side of Karma. These mechanized AA pieces, you have such low availability of them that when they go down, it makes a huge difference in the game. And the Boston is coming in here, is going to be able to catch these Gavardia before they spread out, and that's going to make a big difference. The Strelki SVT is going to be able to go on the attack now and really pick off these squads as they try to retreat. And that's exactly what Gonzo is going to do. He's going to run straight onto them, look for the surrenders initially, if they don't fall back in the right direction, and then when they do fall back, he can try and engage them with the SVTs from range and get the job done that way. T-3485 does pick off the Zis 3 from a distance. T-3485s easily deal with these sorts of AT guns from that range. Gavardi is though being brought in to push for the town. Not very good in the close range, and these Morskaya Raptors are going to be very, very difficult. I mean, honestly, as soon as they get in range, this Gavardi is just going to die. That's one. So the other 2 get unloaded. That's good. Good stuff there from Karma to make sure he unloads those early. He's made that mistake a few times where he just hasn't unloaded early enough. But again, the IL-2 coming in, just free cluster bombs onto those T-3485s, and Karma just can't afford to keep replacing them like this. It's really, really starting to cost him. Gonzo made the great decision to bring in his AA and quite an abundance of AA all at once, and I question his decision to do so earlier on because it was a large investment of points at that point in the game, especially when the Yaks weren't that much of a threat to his ground forces. But what it did do was enable his own aircraft to be able to continue their strikes like these cluster bombers and the Bostons. Now I feel that Karma kind of needs to do the same, but he's in a very tough position because he's still very much under pressure. His infantry is not performing as well as he would like, and without the support of the T-3485s, that's going to continue to be the case. So now he's kind of in a position where he needs to get T-3485s on the field to support his infantry, but at the same time, if he continues to do that one by one, they're only going to get picked off by the clusters. And then, you know, he basically... he's just going to constantly have to buy in more T-3485s. I feel like he's kind of stuck in that position right now. Somehow, Karma has to get 37s on the map, and maybe buying one T-3485 and then one AA piece is the way to go about it. So eventually he has like 3 or 4 AA pieces across the whole match, which can eventually stop things like these IL-2s from getting kills. The IL-2, for example, going for this T-3485 on the bottom side, I'm not even sure the 37 will stop it, because the 37 doesn't have the veterancy, but we'll have to wait and see. Gonzo quite happy to just sit on this bottom side. He's just dug in really with his Strelki into defensive positions. IL-2 does get the busters off. Is it too spread out? No, it's not. The 37 didn't really do its job. And now the 37's in line of sight of the T-3476 again. So Karma being very careless with his AA, and it seems like this AA has actually been one of the main factors in the wins and losses of these games thus far. Karma did a great job to get so much ground early on, but I really feel like the air support from Gonzo has whittled down Karma's offensive ability, especially in the middle of the map, where he should have the advantage. We are going to see another M17 coming in. That's going to be now moving into this sort of open ground behind the trees this time around. 37 didn't die, so that's good news. But the T-34, does that have line of sight onto the M17? Not quite. Okay, so it looks like the M17 will survive this time around. But Gonzo is sitting on the 15-9, mainly due to this flag here being captured by this salient caused by the Chernihiv Bushlati. That can be covered off by the Avto Komnoti here, but it seems as though there is a lack of Gvardia coming in on the side of Karma, whilst Gonzo's not going to be out of infantry anytime soon. That's one benefit of playing Morskaya Gruppa Bakhtina, is he's not going to be running out of that very quickly. Now M17 and 37 actually do quite a lot of damage to the Boston there, but not enough to shoot it down, and that really makes all the difference. These infantry did take quite a lot of damage because of all of that. IL-2 now being focused more to the top side to avoid this AA. Boston also coming in here as well. Boston's going for the ZIS-3. Will it be able to get the kill? That's the 4 250 kilogram bombs. Gonna have to land like one directly on target to really get the kill there. Yeah, not really. Takes it down to 1 health. Not a very effective bombing strike in the end. This Yak-1 still in the sky. It could cost him. It's 37. He got 3 shots off. Are they close enough? No, they're not. Either way, Sparky SVT, they've come in off the hill. They've basically pushed straight on to this bombed infantry in the town. And they've cleaned them out. There's a big, big take there for Gonzo. That's 2 flags on this bottom side. The Karma was trying to defend but has now lost. Pushing back into that town against this number of infantry is only really possible with off-map support or some strong airplay. I don't really think Karma has the strong airplay with the 44th, and has probably already used the majority of his off-map. So, yeah, I'm a little concerned here that this might be the end of Karma with this control going over to Gonzo. Also, the SVT is going to end up taking out the 37mm here, which is going to open up more airplay for Gonzo. Gonzo's now coming in with bombing strikes on the top side to make the difference as well. Boston's going to finish off the ZIS-3. Bombing strike's going to pin down the Gvardia here and kill off one of the squads. Yeah, this is tough now for Karma. 37 is dead. IL-2 or the T-34-85 has come in, but obviously won't have the anti-air support that it needs. And after 39 minutes and 46 seconds, Karma is going to cede the 4th game to Gonzo. So it's now 2-2, and we move on to a 5th game. Best of 5 with 5 games. You gotta love it. But great job by Gonzo there to use Morskaya Gruppa Bakhtina to get 4,535 kills to 3,040 losses. It seemed as though Karma had a strong game plan for the early game. He certainly took a decent chunk of ground, but I'm surprised he allowed Gonzo to push out in the open. I thought that if he had those T-34-85s out in position, there was no way that he would ever lose any of those flags, so then would only have to concentrate on the top and bottom side of the map, because that's where Gonzo would probably focus due to his infantry. But it didn't really turn out that way. Gonzo kind of just applied pressure everywhere and went with it, and I think that's something that Gonzo's really good at. He constantly probes his enemy in different areas of the map to get his opponent's, I guess, focus to move around. I feel like Karma is one of those players who deals with that very well and does also apply pressure himself in different areas, but Gonzo managed to break down Karma's AA, and Karma basically threw away his first M17. His second one got picked off by the T-34, and then the 37s just weren't brought in soon enough to help deal with the abundance of like IL-2s and Bostons that Gonzo had eventually built up by that point. So I think the crux here is that Karma should have had more AA on the map sooner in a similar sort of way to Gonzo did. Maybe a little bit later. I feel like Gonzo could have maybe brought in his AA a bit later, but was kind of forced to bring it early because of a poor air engagement. The air engagements early on really weren't going well for Gonzo, and I think Karma did a good job of really taking out those MiG-3s and then going for the IL-2s and the other stuff that mattered that was left on the map. I saw Gonzo in a really terrible position there, but somehow Gonzo managed to get out of it by saving up points for multiple AA pieces and unloading them at spawn, which is like one of the things that generally gets very much punished in a 1v1 scenario like this, because that's a lot of points to invest in a play like that. But due to the map being Orsha North and his infantry having a big effect, it kind of allowed him the time to just defend his front line for a little bit, whilst he recovered the points that he invested in his AA. And then when he had the AA plus the other units that he brought in front of it, it made him very, very strong and allowed him to cover his support units and his support aircraft in the advance. So yeah, I think Gonzo, the AA, bringing that in the end turned out to be a really good thing, and definitely helped him win the game. Karma, lack of investment in AA really cost him his T-34-85s and maybe lost him the game. And yeah, I guess that's about it. A very good game nonetheless. These guys continuing to impress me. 39 minutes 46 seconds. What a game. Well, that's game 4. It's 2-2. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this one. We'll be moving on to game 5 soon enough. But that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.